Let's begin.
Here we go! Hi, everybody!
Start the insanity.
You are not worried, are you?
Me? No.
Well, we're waiting.
Hello, welcome to Super Media All-Stars. We are a weekly podcast, and today we are talking about games. I am your host, John Harris, and we got a quote-unquote studio full of all-stars tonight, starting with Jake Boston.
Where's Waldo turns 30 this week, so any book that you are reading, just put Where's Waldo in it. I want Where's Waldo in Twilight. I want Where's Waldo in Catcher in the Rye. And most importantly, pay your damn respect.
We got Anthony Borich,
I'm Pickle Rick.
Brent Harris,
Who wants to get punched in the junk?
Jesse Geske,
Howdy ho! You want to get high?
and making his first Super Media All-Stars appearance, our good friend, Andy Guild.
It's just going to bomb if I try an intro, so just start with the podcast, please.
And what a podcast we have for you today. First one being a lot of good stuff in the news happening, and then everything Metroid we'll be talking about today, so stay tuned for that. And then we're going to end with some trivia. But first, how's everybody doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. I'm sweating already. This is yikes.
Getting steamy in here.
Six guys in a small room.
Got a lot of meat packed in here.
It's a good room. We're just very close together.
So, any good games we're playing this week? Or maybe get some good pickups around this table?
Welcome to the Heat Podcast.
We're fucking Giggle City today, folks.
Together, Brent.
Jesus. John, you just came back from Wisconsin, correct? And you found some shit.
I did. I went to a smaller retro game store. The guy who sells everything in his store it's all his own collection, so it was very cool. But I ended up picking up Golf, originally on the Game Boy that just has Mario on the cover. Great game. I got it complete box. Picked up the two Pokemon games from Coliseum and Gale of Darkness on GameCube.
All right.
And the original Game Boy box. Just the box itself, which was kind of cool to have. So,
It's a sexy box, though.
yep, good stuff there.
Good.
I picked up Star Tropics for the NES and Star Tropics 2.
Wow.
Just bought those two together. I heard they were good. The first Star Tropics was on the NES Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a Zelda-esque, world explorer hack and slash type game.
It's a weird-ass game.
Yeah. Looked pretty interesting, so I picked that up. Other than that, I've been playing Destiny 2. Been putting a lot of hours into that over the past week. Picked it up last Friday. Ended up getting the collector's edition for the PS4. Maybe you'll see an unboxing for that if we want to do that.
Ooh.
That'd be sweet.
But yeah, I've been playing that.
I got to World 4 in Mario Rabbids. Played a little bit more of Fallout 4, and I did a little bit of testing with Far Cry Primal again today.
Wow.
Nice.
Haven't played the game forever, so.
I have a normal one and an embarrassing one. Which one do you want?
I want them both.
Okay, well, I've been playing Rabbids 2.
Good.
It's good. It's a normal game. And I've been playing a game where you play as an anime teenager in a high school where you have to kill each other called Danganronpa. No,
Of course.
I've heard about
not
that.
Bully. Not Bully.
Danganronpa's awesome.
Yeah, Danganronpa. You played that?
I sure have.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like, it's
PS
crazy.
Vita.
Yeah, it's basically they ported it to PC now.
Oh.
So I have it on PC. I got it pretty cheap on Steam,
Okay.
and it just gets insane. There's some really stupid shit going on in that game, but it's a lot of fun. It's like Phoenix Wright meets like Hunger Games, kind of.
Is it one of those like Japanese games where when you beat them up, their like clothes fall off? So it's like very
No,
like,
it's
perverted?
Nothing like that.
Oh,
no.
okay.
You have a class trial, and they all the students present evidence or they say things, and then you shoot their evidence with your evidence or their statement with your evidence. You can counteract what they're saying, like if they're lying or if they're wrong about something. It's Phoenix Wright,
Sounds
basically.
crazy.
It's weird shit.
Yeah.
We started an Instagram account, earlier this week.
We did.
And I picked up some stuff last Friday, so I posted that on there. Went all over the board. Got some Game Boy games, got some NES games, Genesis, Game Boy Advanced, some gaming VHS tapes, which I love, and I don't know why I like them so much, but I do. I have like 4 of them. Super Mario Kart in box for Super Nintendo, and there's a whole bunch of random other ones. The 2-pack for Metroid Amiibos. Got
Nice.
those because they're amazing. Gotta
squishy one?
Gotta get that
That's great.
squishy Metroid,
Yeah.
brah.
Nice.
But yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing Rabbids. I've been playing Metroid, and then I also been playing Project Octopath Traveler.
Oh,
on-
the demo.
on
Yeah.
demo on
Yep.
Switch. If you guys haven't picked that up yet, it's only like an hour demo, but it's really good. It gives you.
So you finished it then?
I finished it.
Okay.
How many people can you play as?
2 and Warrior, and the one I'm playing is called Primrose. She's the one that lures guys
The
in.
whore. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
whore.
whore.
But she has right from the very beginning, you get her backstory, in which it's a little talkative at first, and then it gets into some like lure this guy in, and he'll fight with you.
Right.
So
I heard this game isn't for kids.
it's not. This game is really dark.
Hey.
Okay.
How dark we talking?
So in the first hour, you talk about prostitution. One of your, not to spoil anything here, but one
It's
of
a demo. Who cares?
yeah, one of the girls, your best friend, who's a prostitute, gets her throat slit by the boss, then tossed off a cliff in front of you.
Nice.
Oh, stop! I'm at half mast.
And the bad guy, like the bad guy, like
Half?
in the demo, he's some old pervert who just uses prostitutes for money and for his own pleasure. So,
Nice.
That's like my life motto. You give a couple
but
BJs and
but you put all that into a 16-bit Final Fantasy game. That's what you got here, and it's awesome. So I'd highly recommend checking out the demo. I'm more excited
Yeah,
for
I'll
this
check
game
that
now.
out. That looks
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, what we tried to play in ARMS last weekend.
Yeah.
Yikes.
What happened?
It was just a multiplayer function. Didn't go so well.
Yeah, like the motion controls weren't working worth a goddamn.
yeah, the
Just your setup wasn't working, or just the game doesn't work?
I had my Switch and John brought over his, and I don't know if it's my dock or I don't know what's going on, but like you tried punching, it didn't punch. So we ended up doing like a docked controller versus like somebody with only one Joy-Con sideways. 'Cause that's the only combination we can get to work.
which by the way is terrible.
Yeah,
It sounds
terrible.
yeah, just cramped.
Yeah,
You can only play that if you're like 5 years old, because then it'll fit your hands perfectly.
Right.
An adult man cannot grip a Joy-Con sideways and be comfortable at all.
No.
Besides that, it was actually kind of fun.
ARM single player is fun. Like I just play it handheld mode.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
Did you try online at all? Playing other people online? Or?
Not
Okay.
not there yet. No.
Not good enough.
I
They're
don't
probably
think so.
disgusting.
Say, yeah,
Yeah.
unless you want to get touched.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into the gaming news. The first one being Slightly Mad Studios, who just released Project Cars 2 this week, already talked about teasing the collaboration of a major Hollywood studio, we're assuming Universal, to what appear to be a Fast and Furious racing car game in the future. So how do you guys feel about this little announcement? It's nothing yet, but they're teasing an idea here.
Andy's all about that Fast and Furious.
Yeah, but
Would you play the game, though?
I don't need another damn car game. You know
No.
what they need to do is make it like 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, where you're just blowing
just
up helicopters
ridiculous,
and
yeah.
shit.
Nobody needs that.
No, we do need that. We need everyone with special abilities. Like Dom, he's like Mario. He's kind of average, and then The Rock can like pull guns off of cars and throw them or something. I don't know, but there needs to be like a car section and then a Blood on the Sand, kill everything section.
That's going to be really bad if they do that.
No way. Those movies are not about cars anymore. They're kind of like superhero movies
Like
in a way.
action?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep the movie the way it is. Anytime a car racing game goes like on the street, like in person, not in a car, more than likely it's garbage. Like this company made Project Cars 2, is that correct?
Yep.
And I think they've only done car racing games.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
To their credit, though, they've done racing simulation games, is what they call themselves, and they're always highly scored. People usually love these
Yeah.
games on the racing scene.
Yeah, but if it's a Fast and Furious game, I don't want a goddamn driving sim. I want like burnout action.
I want another Burnout. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say
that'd
that.
be
Burnout.
awesome.
Those
And
games are great.
In this interview that the CEO spoke about this collaboration, he mentioned how Need for Speed is kind of taking that route with, like, was it Payback that's coming out? In their trailer for E3, they showed a bunch of heist and cops and robbers kind of things.
Looks
So
a lot like Fast and Furious stuff.
this guy said, yeah, Need for Speed was good, but we're going to do it 10 times better.
For Forza Horizon 2, they had a Fast and Furious DLC pack, and that shit was really fun.
So that's going to be the whole game. It was the DLC.
If that's
expanded.
if that's the whole game, I will be okay with it.
Yeah.
The DLC was like 5 hours long. It wasn't long at all, but I enjoyed every minute of it.
They could be trying to get some of that Grand Theft Auto action, where it's like driving around the street and doing heists and everything. And people play that game like crazy.
Yeah.
Even now, like
Even still, yeah.
So obviously this story is in development. It'll be a couple years if this happens, before we see anything come up out of this studio. Next on our list is the NES golf game, which is a very old game at this point. You can find it now, after people have researched this, in your Switch hardware. And the method of unlocking this game is a very signature gesture that Satoru Iwata, former president of Nintendo, who passed away, I want to say last year, he had a hand motion. You guys remember that hand motion, what it looked like? obviously for listening, I'm just putting my hands up in the
Like,
air.
touchdown.
Touchdown kind of look.
It's good.
Except forward,
Oh,
away
yes.
from you.
But if you do that with the Joy-Cons, you automatically unlock the NES golf game.
What do you like? Where do you do this in the Switch? Like,
Do it
just
from the main menu?
Anytime you put two Joy-Cons in the air, like you just scored a
When you're
field
playing
goal.
arms, you're just
Yeah,
That part I didn't get to. It was found by somebody just dissecting the hardware.
Sure.
But then they actually tested it on a working Switch, and it popped up. It worked.
It popped up.
Was
Yeah.
was NES Golf like his favorite game? Or why that game?
he made the game.
Oh,
He was lead designer on it.
And it has like a Mario on the cover, just like the one I picked up, but old.
And they use on the Switch. It's Mario Golf, or it's just Golf, NES Golf, but it has motion controls. Correct?
I think it. I don't know that.
I think it does.
It might be cool if it did.
Yeah.
So that'd be sweet.
That's
think
a pretty cool tribute to him.
Well,
to do that.
I think it's just neat that they have NES emulator actually in the Switch because they never had
Yeah.
that for Wii or Wii U. They always had to buy shit on the Virtual Console.
Right.
This has a built-in NES emulator. That's pretty sweet.
you can't really hide stuff like that in the code because people are gonna find it regardless at some
Right.
point.
Eventually.
Yeah, but it took them 6 months to find it. So
Yeah, but the switches were hard to find, and
no, people were dissecting this thing like day one. People that got it. So
Out of all the stuff you can find, this was a really cool Easter egg that they hid in there.
Right.
yeah.
Wonder what else is hidden.
I don't know. We'll find out. Next, speaking of Switch, Bethesda had announced last week that they're bringing Doom and Wolfenstein 2, which is a good announcement on its own. But they also said this week that they're going to continue support for the Switch. So, that being said, do you guys think Bethesda will make it a goal to release a Switch port, maybe a Switch port, but a Switch release with all their titles going forward, maybe past this year?
I have no idea what else Bethesda would want to port over here, or if they are just like getting new games on the Switch, like day and date. That would be very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, like if we ever get to a new Elder Scrolls, what are the chances that runs on Switch? Probably very slim, but at least they're thinking about it.
Sure.
And that, or if you like
yeah.
their apps.
I think a new Elder Scrolls game is pretty far out.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
I don't even.
Especially
It
with
probably
them
won't even hit this generation.
still
would be
milking,
my guess. It's probably years and years out. Who knows?
But Bethesda's got tons of properties they can play with.
Right.
And I just think if they're going to do this for Doom and Wolfenstein 2, which Wolfenstein 2 isn't even out yet,
Right.
they can make it a goal from day one, put it on all systems day one, so Switch people don't have to wait.
Right. Cool. 'Cause Skyrim's still not on the Switch. That's coming out very soon.
I think it'd be really cool if they did a Game of the Year edition and they did it like day and date with the next gen consoles.
Yeah.
Like if all three of them released at the same time, that'd be pretty big for Nintendo.
All right, and then to end our news segment, there's a lot of games that came out this week. We'll probably spend some time on some and very little on next. So guys, feel free to jump in at any point. First one being Divinity Original Sin 2, coming to, I think it's on PC right now.
Yep.
And I think it's coming to consoles a little bit later.
correct.
Brent, what's your thoughts on Divinity Original Sin 2, the game?
It's comparable to the first one. I think it's more of just a continuation from the first game. I think they fixed a lot of the stuff that people had problems with in the first one.
Yeah?
You read. I feel like you have to like read a lot of.
I got more of a
dialogue.
Baldur's Gate vibe from it.
Yeah, okay, that's the game I was actually looking for. It's got that feel to it, but like the amount of strategy that goes into the combat is a lot more in depth than you might think. So that can kind of steer you away from it. I don't know. It looks pretty good, but again, it's one of those things where I think if you didn't have people to play with, it'd get pretty boring.
Sure.
So
People have been saying this game has a really good storyline, which the first one did too, so I imagine the second one, the reviews for it have been really good, so I imagine this game has its own crowd and it'll continue to be supported.
yeah,
So.
I think
Seems like one of those games is very scary for newcomers to
Yeah.
try to pick up for the first time
Mhm.
because it's so
a good
much
point.
to take in all initially,
Yeah.
and the combat is so, at least from what I could see, was very unforgiving.
yeah,
Like you'd just be brutally slaughtered if you didn't know what you were doing.
yeah,
Right from the jump.
it's just a steep learning curve,
Right.
Which I mean, a lot of games have,
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
it's
I
just,
mean,
it's
certain-
just something different than probably what most people have played.
right.
Sure. All right, this next game I think we've all actually we played together, if I remember correctly. Pokken Tournament Deluxe came out for the Switch today, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And this game was originally on the Wii U.
Sure was. The day it came out, we had a big fighting tournament with this game. And this is like one of the only Wii U ports that I'm not going to pick up that's going to Switch. I wasn't a big fan of the first one.
They threw in a couple new characters, like a couple new Pokemon you can play as, but other than that, it seems like kind of the same. Maybe
Yeah.
a few more stages, but I didn't really play a whole lot of the first one on the Wii U, so I didn't really see any point to picking up. I don't know about you guys, but
The
that
game
my
was
take.
the game was solid.
Yeah, it was fun.
I remember it being hard.
A learning curve can be hard for some. It was easier fight. It was an easier fighting game, but I played through some of the campaign, I guess you want to call it, and it started off really easy. It stayed easy for a long time, and then it got really hard.
Yeah.
I felt it was compared to most fighting games, it was actually slower paced.
But more strategic.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I think it'd be more welcoming for beginners.
Yeah.
Wonder if there's like a competitive scene for this game.
Oh, there is.
Oh, is
yeah.
there?
They had it at E3.
They're just,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
They
it was
had-
disgusting.
Gross.
Yeah, Nintendo had a lot of tournaments, and Pokken Tournament was one of them.
So they're investing money in it. Well, that's good
Yeah.
for the scene, I guess,
I think
for people
the
who play it.
most popular 3 were like Suicune, Mewtwo, and
Chandelure.
Or
Definitely not.
The chandelier Pokemon.
Employeon was a big one too.
No Charizard love?
What about the snow cone Pokemon? Is he in there?
God, no.
Yeah.
Vanillux?
Vanillux.
Pokemon
No.
snow cone?
I feel like
He's the
Nintendo
best.
tries to push esports in an awkward way.
Right.
Like they try to get
Like
their
shove it down
games
your
at
throat.
E3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So didn't they have a Splatoon tournament too?
They sure did. That was awesome.
Yeah, which is cool, but I don't think it's going to pick up as an esport exactly.
Imagine
when
if
there
they
are more hardcore games out.
Right.
Definitely.
Imagine if they had they put in a Magikarp, and you had like a 1 in like 1,000 chance just to one shot the opponent.
Nobody would pick it.
Oh, that'd be so awesome though! Just splash.
There's already one bad Magic card game out there. All right, the next game we've already talked about, which was Project Cars 2, your racing sim, so we won't dive too much into that. I'm not sure if anybody's played this game, but Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, I didn't even know there was a first one. Did you guys know that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a game where you make your own original Dragon Ball Z character. I think it's an MMO too, Jesse.
It's kind of like a aerial fighter. Like you're flying around the air and
I've-
you're shooting laser beams at each other. but
I've seen
there's
screenshots
elements.
of a bunch of people in a hub world with their names over their heads, and it looks like an MMO.
There's
thing.
like a hub world, but when you actually go into the battle, it's like the standard Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
fighting scene.
It's a
where you're
fighting
flying
game.
around.
It's a fighting game that looks very reminiscent to the anime.
Yeah.
Yep.
When we were at E3, that was like the fighting game people picked. Like there were like 3 or 4 different fighting games, but this is the one that a lot of people were given like their best to show for fighting games for.
basically
where
like
it's-
an aerial fighter.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can do combos and shoot like laser beams
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
laser
You
energy
still have
balls.
your-
Called Kamehameha.
Like Jake said, this game
More
looks,
than just
looks
that, though.
great. Looks fantastic for an anime fighter, so
Yeah.
mad props there.
I played Budokai 2, and if this plays like that, I'm just whatever.
This next one is an indie game, but it came out for Switch, PS4, and PC, I believe. And it's a sequel called SteamWorld Dig. Did anybody get
not
a
out
chance to look into this at all? I know it's the first one was a straight down digger / game. And
Straight up digger.
Like Dig Dug or what?
Kind of, except
Yeah.
an actual game and
This-
not just an arcade game.
Okay.
And now SteamWorld Dig 2 is like same concept. We can go left and right now, which is good.
Pass.
And
Hey,
This game sounds awful.
oh no!
Who are we kidding?
You haven't even seen anything about it.
No.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
It
Looks
sounds
like hot
terrible.
shit.
Brent, can you give us a little bit about it?
I put it on my wish list on Steam, so as soon as it comes out, which is later this week, I believe, I'm buying the shit out of it.
It's a platformer at its best, but I think it's also people. I never played it, but I don't know the appeal here. But people
Do you
love
build
it.
stuff or like I don't understand the appeal of this game?
It looks like to me it looks like a Metroid game with digging mechanics.
Yeah.
okay. I'll have to check it out then.
No, yeah, it is pretty much exactly what it is.
I know it's getting good reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a
I know
good
that
sign.
for a fact. I don't know anything
Yeah,
else
I'm
about
seeing
it.
like 8s and 9s.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
How many games do you have on your wish list, Brent?
6.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's because they end up getting bought. they don't end up. As soon as I get the email, they're on sale. I'm like, okay. I'll never play this, but I gotta buy it.
This next game we actually just sampled before we started, and that is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Yep.
We all took a turn playing. Guys, what's your impressions after a very short, I want to call it demo for us?
I love Marvel vs. Capcom anything. So, yeah, this game, it's not really more of the same. The past 2 or 3, it's been like 3v3, and this is 2v2 again, plus like throwing in Infinity Stones as like supers.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very weird. We only played a couple matches, but I liked what I played.
Yep, and I'm still the best.
No,
Yeah.
you just mash buttons and you don't know what you're doing. You press pause half the time.
Yeah. Once he starts losing, he presses start. It's like, oh, you're about to ult? Oh, well, that's too bad. Oh, start. Back in. Oh, no.
But this game plays Marvel characters versus Capcom characters. Has a good roster. we already talked about how it's missing the X-Men.
No
which,
X-Men.
yeah, which is a big fault.
That sucks. If it doesn't come out as DLC, that's going to be a big missed opportunity.
I don't think it will because Marvel under Disney likes to do this thing where they take out the characters that Fox owns.
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, they were threatening to cancel the Fantastic Four comic because they wouldn't give the rights back
They
to
did.
Marvel. Did they?
They canceled the Fantastic
Oh,
Four comic.
wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a lot of petty stuff. So when Marvel has control over the roster on this game, I'm fairly certain, and I would bet any one of you X-Men don't come out in this game.
That's
They
nuts.
already announced the first 4 DLC characters.
Yeah.
None of them were
Yep.
Fox-related properties. Like Venom was one. I can't remember the other 3.
The roster seemed pretty weak. I didn't recognize a lot of the characters. I'm not a big Marvel vs. Capcom fan, though, but I surprised didn't recognize a lot of them.
It's got Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins. It's all
Yeah.
it needs.
Captain America's in there.
We got Ultron now.
Putting characters aside, the gameplay is still solid. The only thing that really
Yeah.
changed up was that instead of a third character, you get an Infinity Stone, which gives you a power. But combat felt great. Obviously, it looks great still.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a story mode which we haven't got into, but supposedly it's a little goofy.
I've heard bad things.
Yeah, it's only like a 3 or 4 hour campaign, so can't expect too much out of a fighting game campaign.
I've
but-
heard like the character animation doesn't even look right. Like very derpy movements.
well,
In the cutscenes? Like
Yeah.
in between the missions?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like the best thing about the last couple, or the last one, I guess especially, the character interactions are funny. So you'll have 2 characters that have kind of a similar way about them, and they'll have some funny interaction. Apparently, this one they don't have a lot of that. It's a lot of awkward, forced, bad dialogue.
that stinks.
I love crazy mashup stories, like the Wii story for Smash Brothers Brawl. Mm-hmm. That was an awesome
That was
story
great.
mode. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I loved it. If this is anything just like crazy bananas like that, I know that like Frank West and Spider-Man share something because they're both photographers. Weird mashups. I will definitely play it. I don't know when, but I will play it.
I'm not huge into fighting games, but like this wasn't bad. But I'll still prefer Mortal Kombat or Smash.
We'll see how that game does over time, if it gets people pick up or not. More than likely, like Jake said a couple weeks ago, that it's going to get a deluxe edition or a major gold edition like they always do with these games. So we'll see how that turns out. Moving on to our next section and the meat of this podcast, that is Metroid. Everything Metroid. Metroid Samus Returns on 3DS came out a week ago today, and a few of us have been playing it. So, guys, which one of you guys picked this up?
Right here.
Oh, you did?
Oh yeah.
All right.
John told me to.
I didn't give him a choice.
I did it for you, John.
Aw. Andy, I think you're a little bit farther than I am, but how's the game treating you?
Yeah, I'm in the third area of SR whatever planet it's called. I like the game. I like exploring, and I don't like the combat too much. The counter system is kind of bonk.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how I'm almost on the opposite end of that.
Really?
I really like the counter.
I don't like it because anytime you come across anything in the game except for a couple of different enemies, you stand still and you wait for them to flash white to attack you, and then you hit the button, you counter, and then you just smash your missile or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I've enjoyed the counter, but I can see that argument makes sense.
Yeah, so like every boss, every enemy, basically you can do that. I mean, it's fun. It's satisfying when you hit the button and then you hit the other button to do the thing.
Right.
It's cool.
So is it
but-
like a niche mechanic that they're trying to like shove down your throat? Like,
Yeah.
oh, look at this
Very
cool
much.
mechanic. You need to do it
If
all
you
the
don't
time.
use it, you can't progress in the game.
That sounds
Really?
annoying.
yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it works great, but it's like Andy said, it's
Yeah.
it's the primary thing here.
Is it the only way to kill certain enemies? Like, can you kill them otherwise?
There's alternatives, but
You
You're
can
gonna lose a
but
lot of
it's
health
gonna be
doing it or
very,
something?
Yeah, it's going to be
Okay.
very difficult. I think when you counter them, you take almost all of their health.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
really?
probably
Yeah.
the most effective way of fighting in the game.
That's very unfortunate. See, I thought that was cool that they implemented that, but I thought it was like cool because I thought it was if
Like an
you're
option or
like a
something.
high skill cap
Yeah.
thing. Like you can negate the damage. Like it's gonna be hard, but you can use this to negate the damage. But
it's
Right.
pretty easy.
the combat doesn't rely on it.
Like a counter in Dark Souls or something,
Right,
Or
or
like
like-
rewarded for
Exactly.
successfully
Once you get
navigating or
once you
something?
get the timing right, you pretty much get it for the rest of the
Yeah.
game.
Okay.
It just feels like ingrained.
Easy.
Yeah.
Sounds very easy.
It's a little well. I guess Jesse, you played for like 5 minutes earlier.
I played for a little bit.
Okay,
yeah, John
so
had it.
Wow.
yeah, how did the controls feel to you?
awkward at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to get into. I have to play it for like 10 minutes, even if I've been playing for a few hours, maybe an hour before I pick it up again.
I think it'd be easier if I had like a controller or something, but I haven't played my 3DS in a while. I've been playing my PlayStation 4 controller, so getting used to the bumpers and the different buttons was kind of awkward.
3DS sucks to play games on.
Yeah.
After my Switch and my Vita that I have, I never want to go back to just like one thumbstick.
Yeah.
I don't care about a fucking nub. Get that nub out of here.
That's fair, because a lot of this game you have to use like a bumper, then with a button in order to enact a missile or to change gears. So there's a lot of that, and I'll admit too that my hands got kind of fumbled when I was trying to do the right move a few times.
Yeah, I get cramped up pretty easily. Like within 10 minutes of playing that game, I'm fully cramped.
Yeah.
The one thing that bugged me was in order to do the free aim, your character has to stop moving. So you can't like aim diagonally at an angle without your character stopping moving.
When you fight the Metroids, they float in the air and they dive at you, so you either counter them or jump over them.
You'd have to counter then, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't shoot them.
Or you can jump over them if they're charged or whatever, and they're going to hurt you. But for those fights, I basically hold down both of the shoulder buttons and I fire at it until it swoops at me. Like they're not very hard.
One criticism of this game has been that its lack of pretty much mini boss fights, because the Metroids are the mini boss fights, and they're repetitive. Like, yeah, they'll change a little bit of few elements of the fight, but at the end of the day, you're still countering and you're firing ice missiles or something.
One of them flies, one of them crawls.
Yeah, it gets more intense.
Game changer.
Yeah.
There are some good things, though. The environment in this game looks, to me, like one of the best handheld Metroids. Obviously, it's on the 3DS, but just the 3D effect on this gives you a nice depth effect in the caverns.
I didn't think you turned on the slider anymore, John.
I didn't until I got this game, because I knew it was praised for the 3D.
Nice.
So I checked that out. Nice. Yeah, it looked really good. And then one thing I want to say was, I think they nailed it on the exploration part. There's a lot of missiles, energy tanks that are just reminiscent of every Metroid game.
Yeah, that's the best part of any Metroid game, is just like searching for shit.
Right.
Yeah, the exploration. I don't want to come out of here thinking that I hate the game, because I really like it. It's just that the combat is not fun, I guess.
I totally get that. And one other aspect was the soundtrack. Actually, when I pulled out the special edition, I got the soundtrack and I listened to that at work. And the soundtrack is awesome. Like,
nice.
It's very reminiscent of the old games, and it also includes its own music from this game. So good. If you get a chance, listen. It's already on YouTube. On the business side of this game, sales are looking okay. Not great, but not horrible either. Numbers are still flooding in, but we're starting to see some reminiscent of what this game could be doing. In Japan, it placed third on the charts, which was 30,855 copies its first week.
That sounds horrible.
Under what?
It does, but compared
third in Japan for a 3DS game is
actually
pretty bad.
Yeah. But for Metroid, that's actually really good.
What was it under? That's what I'd be interested to know.
Well, Japan isn't really big into Metroid. That's more of like a States type of game.
In UK,
that's true too.
Probably. Yeah.
To get some context to this number, it's less than Other M, but Other M was also on the Wii, which had a huge also a huge fan base.
You can't say the 3DS doesn't have a huge fan base.
That's true too.
I mean, this game had better reviews than Other M did, though.
Yeah,
most definitely. Obviously, the easiest thing to point out here is it's doing much better than Federation Force did a year ago.
Because that's not a Metroid game.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a soccer game or something?
It has like dumb mini games like that.
Yeah.
Like Samus isn't in the game, so it's not a fucking Metroid.
I remember everyone being really upset about Federation Force.
Right.
When it came out.
With good reason. It's not a good game.
There wasn't a Metroid game in like 6 years, and then they show us this kiddie bullshit. Get it out of here.
Yeah. More on numbers here. The last traditional Metroid game on the handheld was Zero Mission, putting aside Federation Force. And that was at least on the GBA, and life-to-date total of those sales was 58,546 on Japan. So
that's it?
That's horrible.
That sounds low.
Yeah,
lower than
it's
you
low.
would think. Zero Mission's an amazing game. We'll talk about it. But
Sure will.
Yeah.
Life-to-date game is 58,000. The first week is 30,000 for Samus Returns. That's could be a good sign if it keeps momentum. So we'll see. For other context on this list, Samus Returns also got 8th place on charts for UK. And that's, like I said, it's okay. We're happy it's on the charts, because Federation Force to even make the chart in UK when it opens. So it's an improvement. And then stats for the U.S. sales numbers are still coming in. Those actually haven't told yet. So hopefully by next week we'll have some good report news on that.
NPD numbers always come in at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So we just gotta wait.
We'll see.
So do you think a lot of people have maybe moved on to the Switch, not so much interested in picking up 3DS games at this point? Why do you think the numbers look so bad?
That could be an
at this
argument.
point?
That could be an argument for it. People just don't want them.
I
Yeah.
felt weird buying a 3DS game, honestly,
Oh,
because
did you?
I've been
With-
playing
'cause
my
you have the
Switch so
Switch?
much that I wish
That
it was
could
on
be a
the
big
Switch.
part then.
That'd
That's
be
why.
awesome.
That's why I'm not buying it. I don't
Yeah.
want to play my 3DS.
That's why I didn't
anymore.
buy it.
I had to find my 3DS. I didn't know where it was physically.
So yeah, I mean that's all valid arguments. This game easily would have ran on the Switch and been just as fine, but I think this,
Oh, the numbers would have
Oh,
been crazy, I
It would,
think.
Yeah.
I would think it would have been better.
There
by
are so
far.
little games for Switch that almost every big one they come out with has like a 70% attachment rate.
Right.
For, like any big Nintendo game that comes out.
I think Zelda still has like a 90% attach
Yeah,
rate
it's insane.
for Switch. It's nuts.
Yeah.
That being said, the guys here have come up with the Super Nintendo All-Stars top 10 Metroid games.
Let's get into this. This is going to be a juicy topic, John.
This list is comprised of a majority of votes. So we voted on what we think works. There's be some individual discrepancies, but for the majority, this is the list we came down to. Brent, can you announce to the crowd what came in at number 10 for the Super Nintendo All-Stars top 10 Metroid games?
Number 10, Metroid, was Metroid Other M on the Wii.
Is this just because there's 10 games? Is that how it made
We
the
had to
list?
put it on there, okay?
No, there's,
Yeah.
there's other
There's
games.
like 12.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're saying 10 here. Like it's pretty
It's
much
bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're scraping
Okay,
here.
the gameplay in this has some really cool concepts. Like there are some like 2.5D, like where you play with stuff in the background where it comes out. The story is just horrendous.
They took the counter from Other M and put
Yeah.
it into the latest game on the
Samus
series. The one that
Returns.
Samus Returns, right?
Nice. Yeah, no, there are some good ideas. Like Team Ninja was the main team behind this, so they had some good gameplay
Yeah.
additions. But just the story, just making Samus this dumb girl who just is submissive
Yeah.
to her cap. Oh, just gross.
yeah.
I hated it.
That came out in 2010, which was after a very short time since Corruption came out in 2007. So I watched all the cutscenes for Other M. So bad.
The last
So bad.
The last 90 minutes of this game is actually pretty decent.
Is it?
The story wise, yeah. Just
Who got there, though?
I did.
Oh, you
I
did?
I suffered through
You
all
suffered?
that shit, but
Wow.
oh my god, the beginning it made me want to quit.
Really?
Oh
boy.
The story of this game is god awful until like the last hour and a half. 2
Was it fun
hours.
to play at least on the Wii or no?
Yeah, it was fine. I
Okay.
liked the controls.
The story was bad.
It was definitely different
Okay.
than Prime. It wasn't first person anymore.
See, I'm going to argue the
Oh.
controls are different because
They were very different.
You use the Wiimote sideways to move, and then it switched to first-person shooter, and you switch the
Oh.
remote sideways too, and then
That's-
you
flip it.
shoot.
That's
oh,
terrible.
that's annoying.
It takes some adjustment, but it gets
I
good.
thought it was fine. I wasn't too annoyed by it.
They weren't ready to give up their first look from Metroid Prime. They wanted to put it
Rightfully
into their...
so, but that's still janky.
There were a lot of good ideas in this game. Just story
Poorly
got awful.
executed then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm repeating myself, but yeah, but the last act is amazing.
This game just proved that people want more of a silent protagonist from Samus. Let's have Anthony announce number 9.
All right, number 9, Metroid Prime Hunters for the DS came out in 2006.
I recently played this game. It looks old just because it's a first-person shooter on the DS, which for its time was kind of like an experiment. I think it paid off.
The reason why, in my opinion, why this game is higher than Other M is just because like first-person shooter for DS and it was actually pretty decent. That's very hard to do.
right.
Yeah, the good thing about Hunters was it introduced a bounty hunter cast essentially, which we'd never seen in any other Metroid game. You had 5 other bounty hunters you can play as, and multiplayer.
Right. It was different.
Yeah, and the fact that you got to play on your DS portable was a big deal.
Right.
So that's why it made it to number 9 here. It was a cool concept for the DS. It paid off. It had its own campaign, then it had multiplayer. So I think it was great.
Jake, you want to introduce it?
Yeah,
Number
might as
8
well.
then?
Bring it in.
Please, please, please. Number 8, released in 2005 for the DS. Metroid Prime Pinball, baby.
Pinball.
You big pinball game fan?
I love
You
pinball.
play Pokemon pinball?
I played all the
That's a sweet
pinballs.
game.
One of the
Yeah.
games I bought last week was Pinball of the Dead for Game Boy Advance.
The
'cause-
Dead?
Yeah. Like
Huh.
House of the Dead. And this game follows the story of Metroid Prime, except in pinball mode.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of tables, but the tables that are in it are really cool. When you bought it, it had a rumble pack that you would put in like the GBA cartridge.
Oh, really?
Fuck, cool shit. I love this game.
I was wondering why this was so high on the list, and now I know you were campaigning for it a little bit.
Most definitely, yeah.
Very passionate about pinball.
And I think it's fair to say that it wouldn't be a Nintendo series without some kind of spin-off. And for Metroid, it happens to be a pinball, which totally makes sense because she turns into a morph ball. Might as well make her a pinball.
Sure does. Yep. Nothing but good things about this game. If you haven't played it, and you got a passion for pinball like me,
It's not even a standard.
The director of the
Prime
Metroid
game,
series actually really liked Super Mario Land pinball. So
Mario Pinball Land is god awful.
he liked it, so that's how this game came about. He's like, why don't we just make a Metroid pinball?
This is 10 times better.
Okay,
than that.
let's do it.
Mario as a pinball makes no fucking sense. Just like even Sonic as like a pinball makes perfect sense.
Okay, I was gonna say you're gonna say that doesn't make sense. You shut your whole mouth.
Mario as a pinball. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, agreed.
With this. Yeah, no, Samus as a pinball makes sense. And
Right.
weirdly enough, the story of Metroid Prime being played with like bumpers and shit is really cool. Shut up, Andy.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's very
I've never
weird.
played it. I kind of want to.
You
Hearing
should.
this,
I own it. You should play it. It's good.
All right, the next one on the list is the oldest and the original Metroid from 1986.
Brutal game. I don't know if you guys played it or not.
I picked up this game
Like
on
lately?
the 3DS Ambassador campaign. That when you bought a 3DS and it was way too expensive.
Yeah, this is the only way you could get that game on 3DS, correct?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
how I
okay.
got it. Yeah, it's tough. It's brutal. There's
It's
no map.
unforgiving. The monsters are ruthless. They don't stop coming at you, and
and they don't really gate you off of areas that
No.
you shouldn't be in. They'll let you go anywhere and get destroyed by
Right.
creatures that can one-shot you.
So why it's on this list as at number 7 is that introduced elements that Metroid still maintains today. The concepts
Right.
were good.
it started everything.
Yeah.
It had to learn
Originally.
from its mistakes, obviously, and grow from there. But
Yeah.
it was
It
great.
totally ripped off Alien with a lot of the things that it
Yeah,
did.
it's
okay.
basically Alien. All these games kind of are.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that with one of these other ones, actually. We'll get to it eventually.
Sure.
I mean, all your iconic sounds, your basic Metroid abilities stem from this game, and that's why it's where it's at in this list. The very first
Right.
scene where Samus walks into the cave and that Metroid sound kicks in, it's flawless.
Right.
And then you start playing like, oh shit, this is hard.
Right. And you have to give homage to the game that started it all
Right.
from the start. So
This game's super hard though.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's brutal.
Yeah, yeah. There's no like overmap to know where you're gonna go. In 1986, it was a novel concept to go left instead of right.
right.
Yeah, you just were used to Mario just going right all the time. The reason why you turn into a morph ball is because you couldn't get like the right pixelation to actually crawl, so they just made him to turn into a ball.
Wow, really?
Honestly,
I never knew that.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
that's why we have morph balls for now
That's
on.
crazy.
Yeah, just because it was easy.
And then look where we are now.
Yep.
It's cool
It's
shit.
like a main mechanic, and there's puzzles based on it, and
Just ignore the physics of turning into a morph ball.
That's pretty sweet.
It still holds up.
Doesn't matter. Still really cool.
All right, number 6. Jake.
Let's see here. Number 6 game, released in 2004 on the GameCube, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes.
Who all played this game?
I played it a long time ago.
I played it.
I played it with you, Jesse.
Yeah.
We tried to play multiplayer when it came out, and that multiplayer kind of turned me off of the game completely.
Was it like a split screen? I'm trying to remember. That was
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
long ago.
Like
okay.
2 or 4 players.
It was
I
a-
think
it
that
was a
our screen
split
was too
screen.
small.
Yeah,
I think that was the issue.
I remember
'Cause
playing
my,
with you on a
my
very
TV
small
was too
screen.
small.
Yep.
I think if it was bigger, maybe it would have been more enjoyable.
No,
I don't know.
Metroid Prime should never have multiplayer.
Well,
That's
yeah.
not the point of Metroid Prime.
True.
Yeah, it's not even really a shooter. It's like a lock-on
Simulator,
yeah,
It's garbage.
lock-on
Yeah.
simulator.
The only thing I could
Lock
see
on
working
hit A
for
over
that
and over as fast as you can.
would be a Bond GoldenEye type thing, whereas like 4 of you play as Samuses, go around
No,
a map and just shoot each other.
You all do play as Samuses.
So putting multiplayer aside, which actually debuted on this game, the first multiplayer ever on Metroid, premiered in Echoes, obviously to mixed feelings. But this game was a direct sequel to Metroid Prime and introduced like dark and light mechanics, which were just different enough from the original Metroid Prime to give you
They were cool.
a new sense of exploration for this game.
Zelda did it better.
Yep.
Yeah, they did. But Metroid Prime 2 Echoes is notorious for being the hardest of the Prime series. I'm not sure if you guys ever finished the campaign, but it is tough.
I can't even remember.
And
Probably not.
And exploration in 2 is at an all-time high. Like, not only
Yeah.
is it like full of trinkets, but you got to do some major backtracking in Echoes in order to complete its campaign. It's also worth noting that this is the first full reveal of Dark Samus we got in a Metroid game. She was teased at the end of Metroid Prime, but she came to full flesh in Metroid Prime 2. And it was just cool to see a Dark Samus character appear in a game.
What was the from the original or from Metroid Prime on GameCube when you 100%ed it, you unlocked like a suit? Was that the Dark Samus that you unlocked, or because it was all black?
It was,
Wasn't
it was an
or-
extra cutscene, and it showed the Omega Metroid. I think. Oh, it was Mother Metroid, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's Omega Metroid.
Metroid Prime.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. Yes, thank you. Yes.
Mother Metroid?
Yeah, I was just
Mother
combining stuff.
Metroid's from Super Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
The Mother
Mother
Metroid.
Brain.
Yeah, Mother Brain.
But the end of Metroid Prime featured the main boss transforming into Dark Samus after replicating her DNA.
Right.
And you think you had beat her, but she comes back in Dark Samus form.
Of course.
So, which is actually how she looks at the end of Metroid Prime is very different from how she looks in Echoes.
Right.
Yeah. So in order to get that extra scene, you had to unlock and get 100%.
100%
on Metroid
Which
Prime.
I did in Metroid Prime. Did you guys ever
No.
100% that game?
No. Did
Really?
you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing game.
Me and Andy were gross in Metroid Prime.
I'm sure we'll get to it.
Yeah.
In Metroid Prime 2, I liked one of the final bosses was the King Ing, which the Ing in this game were just dark, evil rats. That's all they were in this game.
Well, sounds thrilling, John.
And then the game actually ended with a square off against Dark Samus, which was epic, and it was a good way to end the game. So I really enjoyed Echoes. It actually met with very high acclaim, but people look back at it now and they don't enjoy it as much as they used to. But back then it was highly revered, almost up to the degree of Metroid Prime. So that says something about the game. Andy, can you introduce our number 5?
Released in 2007 on the Wii, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption.
Who all played this game?
I did. Oh, you guys didn't play this?
Nope.
I didn't play this one.
Whoa, this game is amazing. It's got the motion controls. It was really cool because you had the nunchuck and the Wiimote, and to use the grappling hook, you would actually throw your. I'm doing motions with the microphone. It's not really doing anything for the podcast, but you would throw the nunchuck, and your grappling hook would go out.
Yeah.
And it gave you a little extra feeling of being immersed in the
really?
game. It was really cool.
See, I didn't have a GameCube growing up, so I played the Metroid Prime trilogy for Wii.
I have that one too. Yeah,
And that's the only way that I've played Metroid Prime is with the motion controls. It's really
it's
flawless,
better with
smooth.
motion controls.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
I think so
Most
too.
definitely. Corruption was awesome because, like Andy said, it had motion controls, and it felt good to use the arm cannon with the Wii remote. Like, blasting things never felt better in that
Oh,
game.
yeah.
Yeah, that was the game that sold me on motion controls. I had the Wii and I was playing some other like WarioWare or whatever, which you use a lot of motion and it's fun. But Metroid really sold me on like, yeah, you can go through a game and play with motion controls and not have it be annoying or
Right.
repetitive. Yeah.
Metroid Prime and Resident Evil 4, the
Yeah.
top 2 motion control games that I just would go to if I wanted to hook my Wii back up.
Metroid Prime 3 was also highly acclaimed, and it introduced also some new characters in the very beginning of the game, which compared to Metroid Prime 1 and 2, you didn't talk to you talked to a few characters, but 3 actually started off with you in a spaceship with other bounty hunters, and then you meet the captain of like the Federal Federation. It was new for Metroid Prime fans who had never started, because this whole game's about exploration by yourself, then suddenly you're fighting these bounty hunters who have gone bad throughout corruption due to the phase-on corruption in the game. And I'm not sure if you remember, Andy, the phase-on mechanic was added, and whenever you'd suck in the phase-on, you'd use it for yourself through your arm cannon, and it felt awesome.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm going to take your word for it. I remember really liking the game, but I don't remember anything called Phase-On.
That's okay.
Why is this only at 5?
Corruption?
Yeah.
Because the rest of the 4
There are better games.
They are better
Killers.
games.
Loaded.
Yeah. So, speaking of number 4, Brent, let's jump back to you. What is our Super Mario All-Stars number 4?
All right. Released in 2002 on the Game Boy Advance is Metroid Fusion.
I love this
Yeah.
game.
This game was
Yes.
great.
This is the
one of my
best.
favorites.
This is the one I was saying I think is like Alien, because you have that Dark Samus like chasing you
Ooh,
throughout the
yeah.
game, and
Sure.
there's a
feels
there's a
in this
couple
game.
parts where you're underneath her as a
Yeah.
ball. Oh, it
Oh,
was kind of
shit.
scary.
It was scary.
in a
Game Boy
weird
Advance
way.
game that was
Yeah.
scary.
It was what
It's
was her
crazy.
name? SAX was the virus, and it took the form of Samus and made like a Samus mimic.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're hunted throughout this game by this creature
And,
that looks
and
like
if
Samus.
it caught you before you finally fight it, it
Just
just
wrecked
kills
you.
you.
yeah, which was awesome. It gave a sense of like hide and seek in
Right.
a Metroid game that we never had before.
This day was crazy because the day Metroid Fusion came out was the same day Metroid Prime came out.
and they both sold really well.
The exact same day.
Oh
Same
yeah,
day,
you used to
really?
be able to link them with the Game Boy Advance link cable
that's
to
right.
the GameCube to get a special armor.
You could put the fusion suit into Metroid Prime.
Yeah,
if you did that.
Yep,
Oh,
that was
that's so
awesome.
cool.
Really cool
That's
shit.
gross.
It's awesome.
The only time I ever used that Game Boy Advance function was in Wind Waker for Tingle.
I would sit there and be like, John, there's a
Sonic
treasure.
Adventure 2 for
There's a
Chows.
treasure.
Oh yeah, that too.
Now, was this game a little bit shorter than the rest in terms of
Yep.
length of the
It was-
campaign?
There was some criticism against that.
Yeah.
But in handheld Metroid is usually at most at that time was
Right.
6 to
The
8 hours.
atmosphere in this game was like one of the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's creepy, but yeah, the criticism was how linear it is because it's not as open-ended exploration as the other Metroid games, but the linear nature of it makes it a little creepier, I think.
Right, and this
It
is
was very creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of the first times we saw Samus in an alternative suit before she kind of changes suits in Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2. So it's kind of cool to see her new suit, and it talked about, like, usually Metroid's obviously the highlight of the games, hunting
Right.
and killing them. But then you get this virus thing that's infecting humans, it's affecting animals, and it makes them a new bad
And
guy.
it even infects you at one point, doesn't it?
Yeah, like your suit. The reason you
Right.
have your suit is because you're trying to
Right.
get it away from
Yeah,
bonding with you.
I think Dark Samus came out of that virus that bonds with you at the beginning of the
Right.
game. Yeah.
The fusion suit is awesome. Just like
The colors, yeah.
teal
are
and
great.
purple.
That's
Yeah.
maybe
Right.
the coolest Samus suit.
I think
One
it
of the
is.
best, yeah.
I think it's
I
the
really
coolest.
think it is.
I was going to say that part of, this game that I thought was great was you never knew when the other Metroid person who was chasing you was going to show up. So you play the whole game wondering when she's going to show up and just murder you in like seconds. So there's this atmosphere of this game where you're just going through like, oh God, when is she coming? When is she coming? Do I need to hide?
Right.
So the whole time I was just like paranoid.
Yeah,
It was
it's really
great,
great.
yeah.
It's awesome.
Fusion introduced a little bit more story element to the other Metroid games, where like in the elevator she actually thought to herself and you saw what she was thinking.
Right. Wasn't there someone like guiding you through the planet?
Yeah, it was
Like,
that
who
was
was someone-
what John
someone
was
was
talking
talking to
about.
you?
The Adam
Okay.
Adam.
character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I don't know this. Do we know what the actual like chronological order of these games are?
I think I actually have the timeline here.
Ooh, give me.
The timeline goes Zero Mission, then Metroid Prime, then Metroid Hunters, then Echoes, and then Corruption, Metroid 2, Super Metroid, Ether M, and ending with Fusion.
I don't know if I agree with that. All right, Brent, can you introduce number 3 on this list?
Yes, I can. Number 3 was Game Boy Advance in 2004, and it was Metroid Zero Mission.
Getting down to the good stuff now.
So I think this is definitely one of the top 5 best remakes ever made.
Yep.
This is fantastic. Like
This is a
this
great game.
takes all the best things from Metroid on NES and just makes them better.
Right.
Makes it playable. It's still playable now. Like
The
you go-
best handheld game probably ever for Metroid.
well, I
Really?
mean, according to our list, yeah.
According to the list, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, excluding the newest one, which it's probably even above that. I don't know maybe where we feel on that, but
It's hard.
probably.
It's hard to beat Zero Mission.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Metroid or Zero Mission starts out almost identical to the first Metroid, and it pretty much takes the Super Metroid aesthetic, if I remember correctly, and kind of applies it to the Metroid game.
Right.
The map is still very similar, but obviously updated. And for me, why I love this game, it added end game content where you could play a Zero Suit Samus.
Yeah.
And it added more difficulty. She had more different weaknesses compared to her body armor.
This is the first introduction of Zero Suit Samus.
Yeah. So it was awesome. Do you guys remember how long this game was?
Not too long at all. Like 6-7 hours.
Yeah, that's was even with additional.
I don't mind
content.
that length though.
No, it was
Yeah.
a solid playthrough.
I mean, even when I guess when I say I want to go back and play a game now, that's a good length for me now, going back and playing it, because I can beat it in a few sittings. It's not a game where I need to play like 20, 30 hours like on
Right.
some of these RPGs, so it's definitely a good length now.
So I know it came out for the Game Boy Advance, but this is the same year that Metroid Prime 2 came out for the GameCube. Did they come out about the same time?
I don't think so. I know Metroid Prime and then Metroid Fusion came out on the same day. I don't know the time frame of when both of those games came out in 04. I can't remember.
Well, you point out an interesting fact that there's no way it's a coincidence that Metroid Prime and Fusion came out the same year, the same day.
Yep.
And then Metroid Prime 2 and Zero Mission both come out the same year as well. Like,
Yeah.
that's not coincidence. Like they're
There's probably some.
they're hitting all their
Yeah.
markets at their strongest points
Right.
there. Zero Mission was great because if you like me, who couldn't beat the original Metroid, but you were still very much interested in the game and the lore of Metroid, you got that with Zero Mission and then some.
Yeah.
Zero Mission added a lot of story to it that
Yeah.
you didn't get with the first one because they didn't. I don't think they gave you anything in the first Metroid. They just dropped you in a cave and they said go for it.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Metroid was pretty much a rough draft of what the whole Metroid story would be. So just take Super Metroid, which perfected everything from the first, and just take that skin, put it on the original game.
Right.
Because the original game's great, just hard to play now.
All right, Andy, you want to introduce our number 2 on this list?
Hell yeah, this should be number 1.
Should be number
Metroid
one.
Prime
Yeah,
2002
yeah.
GameCube.
This was a hot debate between
Yeah.
us, but Metroid Prime ended up at number 2, came out in 2002 for the GameCube, and this was our first experience in a 3D Metroid.
The first system I ever had, when I got my first job, I went out and bought a GameCube. So my history with gaming is GameCube. So when I think of Metroid, I think of Metroid Prime for the GameCube, and
Yep.
that's my
Oh, yeah.
history. I 100%ed the game. I just love the hell out of it. I
Keep
haven't
it
played our
confidential.
number 1 pick yet, so that's
Oh,
why Metroid Prime is my number 1. But I've heard great things, so they're probably very close.
Metroid
Prime's
Prime,
like,
great game.
Yeah, that's like one of the best looking games. Still, I think.
Yeah.
I really think
Yeah.
it
No,
is.
in
It holds up
02,
really
in
well.
02 on the
Yeah.
GameCube, this was a
That game
fucking
blew
stunner.
my mind.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
insane how detailed everything was, and the HUD on it, where you could actually
Like the water hit your visor.
Right.
and
yeah,
shit.
the water hitting your
Oh,
visor. I
man.
think in the very beginning of the game blew my mind, and then when you had certain lighting, you would see your reflection in the
In her eyes.
Yeah, her
Yeah,
eyes in
that
the
was
visor.
so
That was so
awesome.
cool.
This was actually my first Metroid game, Metroid Prime. So walking out of the spaceship with absolutely having no idea what to do other than a marker on the map,
Intense.
like it's very intimidating.
Yeah.
And Prime was
That's
very
intense.
intimidating.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Once
For
you-
your first game, that's impressive.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
once you get the gist of like, oh, this is a lot of map scrolling to figure out where you need to go next.
Right.
And then you get obviously you pick up on the clues very quickly. But walking out of that spaceship for the first time was daunting.
Well, and it's in first person, so it's like you're there. You're
Yeah.
seeing everything. It's moving with you.
Well, a Metroid doesn't pop up in that game forever.
No, like
It's just you
almost near
exploring.
the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
that game did a really good job of making you feel like you're alone in this huge
Right.
world, and it's actually kind of shocking and a little scary when the space pirates first
Oh,
appear because
yeah.
they're humanoid.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
really
You didn't-
fast too.
Yeah, and you don't expect anything like that to show up because all you've seen so far are like bug creatures and
Right.
weird animals.
And the boss fights like brought Metroid to a whole new level. Because
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
a first person shooter and like aiming correctly at the weaknesses on the bosses were awesome. Just
So,
Right.
this was your first Metroid game.
yes.
When you saw the actual Metroid, did you know what it did?
I knew what it did because I knew it from Smash Brothers.
Oh,
That's
classic.
it. That's it.
All right.
So that's how I made. I don't say I made connections, but like
See, yeah,
I never
'cause
looked into Samus's story.
Because I knew what it did from Super Metroid, but like seeing it in first person was still like fucking freaky.
Yeah, when
You just
it
had to run
attaches
away.
itself
Oh
to you.
man,
Yeah, because
Yeah,
like,
it
it
was
wasn't
scary.
was it in Prime where you could see it's like tentacles
Yeah, you,
grab
you
your
could see,
face.
yeah, you could see the underside of it. You had to go into
Yep.
ball form and like blow it off of you.
Yeah, like I don't know if it was meant to be scary, but it was terrifying. Like
I
it,
think it was
think it
totally
was,
meant
yeah.
to be.
There are some sections of that game that are meant to freak you out.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I think there's a space pirate compound. All the lights go off, and then you're kind of feeling your way
Oh.
around with the thermal visor.
yeah.
Well, you got to bear in mind that when this game came out, we were 14,
Yeah,
so we're still pretty young.
When
at
this
the
game
time.
came out, nobody made a first-person shooter that was actually like an exploration game. It was
Right.
just all shooter.
Yeah, this was completely new, and
New.
it was barely even a shooter
Revolutionized.
because you would lock on, and
Yeah.
it was more like a Zelda game kind of.
I remember the music kicking in when I got to the lava levels. I remember the music kicking in during the snow area. I forget what it's called. Like those soundtracks for Metroid Prime, like they use them in Samus Returns because
Right.
those themes just click. And
Remember the Ridley battle?
Yeah.
When you first go on that platform and
Oh,
you hear the
God.
dun 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 dun, he's
Yeah.
like flying around. That shit was
I'm like,
awesome.
what the? Because this is my first Metroid game
Yeah.
as well, John. So I fought this giant dragon. I'm like, what the hell is this thing?
Yeah.
Right.
Why is he attacking me? And apparently he's a pirate now. Like, when I looked
Or
into
maybe.
it, I'm like, a pirate dragon that's mechanical. Like, what the fuck?
He's the best ever.
Yeah,
that seems
but he was totally badass.
Yeah.
I loved it.
because that wasn't the boss battle where really cracked the ground as you kept fighting it, and then eventually it caved in.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was sweet. Really, boss fights are always like some of the best boss fights for me because I remember them the most.
Right. I don't think Ridley's the last boss, but he's one of the last bosses.
Yeah,
'Cause I
he's
think
like
you
right before you fight Metroid Prime, he's on
right.
that platform trying to stop you from getting down to it.
Right.
That being said, I remember going into the Metroid Prime fight like terrified. I remember being sweaty.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
I know I want to do this, but I'm terrified to do this. And then like fighting Metroid Prime,
You fight him in like a pit too, don't? Or
Yeah, it's like
mother
it's
in
like a
like
cocoon.
a pit. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like gross.
and then like there's like especially Metroid Prime games had several stages to their boss fights, and I remember dying several times. So, which is
Right.
okay. I'm okay losing to that Metroid Prime game over and over and over to figure it out.
One thing I really liked about Metroid Prime was when you unlock the different weapons, like the different weapon cannons. I feel like you felt more powerful.
Yeah,
like,
they
with the new
were
cannons.
way different,
you,
too.
You like felt it, and it was like really, really sweet how the different colors lit up on your arm, and they were like really badass. You could see them just wreck certain
Yeah,
enemies,
like
and you could
lava
switch
weapon
in between
especially.
them. Yeah,
That's so cool.
I really enjoyed that.
The different visors were awesome too
Yep.
because they were all so distinctly different. Like for even the scanning visor,
Was this the
it was
first-
kind of annoying to scan everything.
Was this
but
the
it's
first
cool.
introduction of the scanning?
Yeah,
When you scan,
Oh,
you
yeah.
got like background.
I do
and-
believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
I liked
That's
how
really
you
cool
could get story from scanning like space pirate files and everything.
Right.
Like there was one you could scan where it said they tried to make the morph ball and they ended up getting crushed inside this little metal ball.
Oh god.
Because they just couldn't do it.
In
So you had to read
100% in this
everything.
game, you literally had to scan everything. So a lot of it was going back and scanning things that you missed.
Morph ball puzzles.
The
In this
morph
were
ball
amazing.
puzzles were
Yeah,
crazy.
Retro Studio did an
Yeah.
knockout job making the whole trilogy.
I remember just having to restart so many times.
Yeah.
Well, just
To get it to the point where I could beat out some
just
of those.
talking about it just makes me want to explore.
Go back
the
and do it again,
highlight.
yeah.
The highlights.
I want to go play it. I was looking up some stuff to do this, and I was like, I just need to play this game again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think this would be one of my top 5 games of all time. Like,
Yeah.
hands down, easily.
sure.
We should introduce number 1 now because I want to know why number 1 beat number 2.
Okay, John, I think you should announce number 1.
So obviously all of us love Metroid Prime, but it came down to Super Metroid at number 1, released in '94
What's that?
for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So we have our opinions on it, but just to give some other perspective here, Super Metroid is considered by some major game companies to be one of the greatest games actually of all time. So
Yep.
some people consider it the number 1 game ever made.
This is on my top 5 for sure.
This is on my top 10. I mean, it's up there. I think Prime and Super Metroid should be like right next to each other at number 1.
Most definitely.
tough.
They're so different.
They're
Like
so
peanut
different.
butter and
It's
chocolate,
hard to
but-
compare the two. They're so different.
Yeah.
One's like a first person and one's like a side scroller.
Yeah.
So I think what it came down to was both have huge nostalgic value, but for Super Metroid, just did everything right from the get go. It did it right the first time. From the very first moment you walk into Super Metroid, if you played the first original Metroid, like it's a huge improvement. But going back and playing this game as I did,
Yeah.
who kind of missed it when it first came out, like it is retro goodness.
The reason why this is number 1 for me is because it did it first. In 94, just like the original Metroid, it was ahead of everything in 1986. In 1994, there was nothing like this at all.
So Super Metroid also introduced us to Kraid, one of the major boss fights, who is actually it's like a
dragon.
green
Fat
yeah,
dragon.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
the
yeah,
big
yeah.
fat
That's what I'm
dragon.
talking about. Yeah.
The Super Metroid introduced like the concept of awesome boss fights.
Yeah.
And they were epic.
Mother Brain, I think, is considered, at least for Super Metroid, to be one of the best boss fights ever, right?
Exactly.
Because the other,
Yeah.
I don't want to you can't spoiler a game this old, right?
No.
The
There's
Metroid
a spoiler at the end of this.
That was a
the
small
Met-
spoiler.
The Metroid comes in and attacks Mother Brain, like, and saves you.
Yeah,
which
that's
I think
the
is a
spoiler.
very
Yeah.
epic moment in
Yeah.
the game.
No, it's
You
amazing.
can't spoiler a game this old, right?
It's a little baby Metroid, and it totally saves Samus.
It saves,
Aw.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
It's
Having
the
not
best.
played the
Like,
game, that's pretty awesome.
in '94 when this came out, in order to like tell that type of story, just
I'm not sure if you guys
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys remember, but the Baby Metroid was a carryover from either Metroid 1 or
it was Metroid 2.
Metroid 2,
Yeah.
where Samus is instructed to kill all Metroids, and she comes across this baby who imprints Samus as his mother.
Yep.
So that starts
okay.
the beginning of Super Metroid because she
Right.
takes the Metroid baby to a facility to be like saved, but also studied.
Okay.
And that's when the pirates get wind of it and take it. And like Jesse was
Ooh.
saying here, at the end of Super Metroid, it's a full-grown Metroid,
Right.
And it wants to kill Samus at first, but it recognizes it's its mother. And for me, like it created like kind of an emotional moment from a Super
Right.
Nintendo game where
Because then Mother Brain destroys it in front of you.
Yeah.
So now you're like, what the fuck? And you're all pissed off and you want to kill Mother Brain.
And it works out
Yeah.
great because it transfers all his Mother Brain's power to you. And
Yeah.
You get
Killing.
Super Saiyan.
Yeah, that's
it's great.
fucking
You
awesome.
destroy at the end. This game does
So is that
a
the
lot
point
of,
where Super Metroid goes beyond Metroid? Is that where you say, okay, this game's better than Metroid Prime?
Well,
This just has better memories for me. I mean,
Okay.
both games, like I said, 1 and 2 could switch on a dime.
Right.
For me, I would rather play a perfect 16-bit
Right.
game rather than a perfect first.
I feel like as soon as I play this game, it's going to be like one of my top 10 games ever.
I hope
Yeah,
we're not.
it really will.
I hope we're not overhyping it.
You
for
might
you.
You're
overhype
not.
it.
I know.
You're
Okay.
definitely not.
But no, I would say as soon as you get the SNES Classic next Friday,
Yeah.
play Super Metroid first.
that's another point compared to Prime to Super Metroid. Like, call me weird, but I never got emotional during Metroid Prime. I respected the hell of everything that happened in that game.
Yeah.
But that moment when for some reason, this Metroid dying, sacrificing itself for you, like that,
Right.
like struck a chord or something.
And
'Cause,
when
like
did-
that one's like one of the greatest gaming moments for me in history.
This game was really good at telling story without really telling you anything. I think
Exactly.
it had one of the best opening
Right.
sequences ever, where you go into that spaceship, everyone's dead, you find the Metroid, and then Ridley's eye like glows
Yeah.
from the background, and he
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
goes at you.
That's another thing. For Super Nintendo, this game was super dark. Very adult for a kid system.
Like very
Yeah.
rarely have you seen a Super Metroid game where it starts off like what Andy said, dead bodies on
Yeah.
the title screen.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm getting the feels already. I haven't even played
it's
it.
amazing. It's really good.
Yeah, and Super Metroid was also like at the time the exemplary of what environment storytelling could do. As Andy said, this exemplified boss fights to a Super Nintendo in a whole new level.
Oh, yeah.
Sega came nowhere close to this game in any respect of
Right.
exploration, boss fights, or anything along that manner.
Should we go over the list again?
All right, so coming in at number 10 was Metroid Other M. Number 9 was Metroid Prime Hunters. Number 8 was Metroid Prime Pinball. Number 7 was the original Metroid. Number 6 was Metroid Prime 2. Number 5 was Metroid Prime 3. Number 4 was Metroid Fusion. Number 3 was Metroid Zero Mission. Number 2 was Metroid Prime. And number 1 was Super Metroid. That being said, there's some honorable mentions we need to throw out that is not part of this list, but definitely helped the Metroid series as a whole. First one being the Metroid Prime trilogy.
Amazing.
That came out on the Wii.
Trilogy, yes.
It came out for $50, and this makes me so mad because I didn't.
In Steelbook.
I have the
That's why it makes me
Steelbook.
mad.
I have the
don't.
steel book.
No, if you had
Oh,
that,
yeah.
if you had that thing sealed, it goes for like $150. For video games, this is my most wanted steelbook. I want
Yeah.
it so bad.
This steelbook is cool because it also came with the art book inside.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It had a lot of the art
man,
book
that-
series from
that slip cover.
the trilogy was great because it also adopted all the Wii mechanics into the original 2 games, which end up working very well based off what we learned from Corruption. And Metroid Prime 1 and 2 were actually very replayable with new mechanics. So I loved it. It got a slight like bump in graphics for the Wii, but the Wii was pretty much GameCube graphics, just motion control. So, and our last honorable mention here is Metroid Blast from Nintendo Land. Did you guys?
Yep,
did you guys
goddamn
play,
right.
Did you guys play this?
No.
I sure did.
I don't know what
I
you're
played
talking
it. Anybody else play this?
It's probably the
Can
best.
you explain
minigame.
what this is?
It's like one person's on the ground shooting a Samus, and then like one person's in an airship, but it was also motion control, and it was very much an arcade game, but it was so good.
It was a
Nintendo,
really fun minigame.
yeah, Nintendo Land on the Wii U had a lot of arcade-ish games, but this was one of the better ones.
Okay.
Some of them were pretty bad.
I feel like that game gets overlooked like crazy. Nintendo Land was a really cool idea.
Yeah, and that was probably one of the best examples of how the Wii U could have worked.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Just didn't sell. So, wah. With that being said, we know that Metroid Prime 4 is coming eventually for the Switch. Based on what we talked about this last hour, what do you guys want for Metroid Prime 4, and what possibilities open up on the Switch?
I'd like them to make this
Double red.
and to not stray too far from the Metroid Prime
Path.
formula.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it works so well, I just want more of it.
I think the director of almost all the Metroid games is backing this one as well, so that's a good sign.
That's good.
And I think the Joy-Cons will work just fine, if not almost better than the Wii.
Yeah, like in ARMS.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You,
Oh, shit.
Burn!
Savage.
That's a callback.
technically, you don't have to worry about the bar,
Yeah.
whatever the motion bar. That
Yeah.
shit was garbage.
Oh, hell
I
no,
hope
but
that
that'd be
the
awesome.
Metroid Prime 4 game that releases for the Switch eventually, you're able to play it for on the Pro controller. That's what I hope.
I could see both.
Yeah.
Right.
They
But
would
as
make-
long as it's compatible with both, I'm fine.
But if you
I don't want to
played-
be forced into the actual motion controls.
I'm totally okay with that because, like Andy said earlier, if one control is the gun and the other control is her hand, and you use her grapple, like on the Joy Cons,
Yeah.
that is so satisfying.
it-
on the
Sometimes
Wii.
I just want to
If
sit
it
down and play
works
a game,
well.
though. You
Yeah.
know.
Nintendo's made a push to push like Breath of the Wild, very much more open world. Mario appears to be more open world.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they adopt some of that strategy to a new Metroid game, or do you think they keep it dungeon crawling?
Maybe
Oh,
like
yeah.
Doom did it, where it's got massive open areas for each levels, but it's still like a kind of type of a linear level.
I'd like to keep it in corridors and smaller rooms where there are multiple hidden things and puzzles and just kind of the way it's been.
So I want to see, I guess, a sequel to Corruption at this point.
And I think that's what this is going to be.
Yeah.
I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a sequel to Corruption. Maybe also they teased a bounty hunter named Silax from Hunters, which for some reason his story is supposed to be really good, and people it was his ship that follows Samus at the end of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. So people are
Man,
speculating.
I gotta go play through Corruption. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know how
You
that
should play
hit
it.
my missed
Yeah.
my radar.
Yeah, but Silex is another bounty hunter who hates Samus and Hunters a lot, and they want to explore why that happened. And is for some reason they teased his ship following Samus and her ship after the end of 3. So
okay.
supposedly that's a
That
story.
makes sense then
There's a
for a
story in the
sequel.
works, but I hope it's more than that. Like obviously bring back some things we love about
Right.
Prime. So the way Nintendo's pushing right now, Prime 4 appears to be a great thing coming. So
The hype is crazy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
all they showed was the title.
The title,
Yeah, I know.
and they had the little the crackling noise.
yeah.
I knew right away. I was like, "Oh my god, Prime 4," and then the 4 came up.
Yeah,
People
it's
lost
like-
their
People lost
shit.
their minds. Yeah.
yeah, I know I lost it.
So
I
they
was-
better not mess it up. It'll be bad if they do. It'll be
Oh, yeah.
Other M over again.
With the way
basically.
Nintendo's going, I don't see them messing it
No,
up.
they've been hitting on everything so
Right.
far.
Yeah,
Odyssey's gonna
they've
be
been
crazy.
doing
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They told us 2018, but this game's not come out in 2018.
No way.
No.
No,
No way, no.
2020.
Yeah. 19 or
2020?
Yeah, 2020.
19 or
What?
20.
Mm.
I guess 19.
I'd say
but-
beginning of 19.
I would
Yeah.
guess Thanksgiving 19.
So with that also in mind for Metroid Prime 4, what are the chances we get the Metroid Prime trilogy as a pre-release for 4 on the Switch? Wouldn't that be great?
I would
Hell
love
yeah.
it.
That would be perfect.
Right now, like Jesse's saying, you're saying you want to go back and play Corruption or the trilogy. You'd have to whip
the
your
Switch?
Wii out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or your
You have
Wii
to
U.
No
whip
one
out
wants
your
to
Wii.
whip their Wii out.
Your Wii out.
You got to hook up that sensor bar. I don't want to do that.
No.
I think that'd be a great segue in 2018. Into
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
launching in 2019.
I would buy it immediately and
Oh,
get
a
the Steelbook.
collection? Oh, that'd be crazy.
It better
Not-
come in a
It
steelbook,
would-
goddammit.
oh, yeah.
and then not throw the slip away.
Yeah.
Slip cover.
I'd probably still throw the slip away.
No,
I don't like the aesthetic of it.
with the Switch being semi-successful on ports, this seems like an easy port from the Wii to pull over. Maybe maybe the biggest challenge here is adapting Wii motion controls for Corruption or all of them and putting them to the Joy-Cons. But I feel like that can be done.
Yeah, I don't think that's hard.
I just think
I
it's a
feel
matter-
like that
Don't
wouldn't be
even
hard
do
at
it.
all.
Seems super easy.
Yeah.
Don't even do the controls. Just put them for the normal controls.
Yeah, you,
Like, who
you could do
cares?
anything in Corruption, like with
Yeah.
the Prime controls. It doesn't really matter. You don't really need it.
Probably.
So, last word on Metroid. It kind of made its own genre with Castlevania, Metroidvania, a mashup.
I kind of have a trouble between Super Metroid and Symphony of the Night. Castlevania.
favorite?
Very
yeah,
different.
as my favorite in
Right.
that kind of genre. Symphony of the Night is amazing.
I've been
It's
playing
one of
through
my
that one
favorites too.
recently.
Yeah,
It's a great game.
it's really good.
Yeah.
See, I'm more of a Super Castlevania 4 type of guy.
Ooh, never played that one.
Oh, you
very,
haven't?
No,
They're very different.
I need to.
You need to.
Well, Jake, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. That Super Metroid also spawned the term Metroidvania, and that people still use that as a comparison
Right.
today for, well, how's this? Is it like a Metroid game? Was it like a Castlevania game? When people ever make that comparison, it just speaks tons to those games. All right. It's time to end this podcast with our favorite segment, and that is the trivia.
Trivia.
All right, Brent, you are the host of trivia, and you are also the clip master, the gatekeeper of all clips.
All right. Clip number 1.
Star Fox 64.
No.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Boom.
Whoa.
Damn.
Never played it.
Isn't there an HD on PS4
Yeah,
coming?
it's coming.
Or it's out?
Yep.
Yeah, they're
I need to get
remaking
that,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be playing
That game is fantastic.
Well done.
So Jake is on the board with 1 point. Brent,
Actually
can you
is
drop
well.
clip number 2 on us?
Yes. Clip number 2.
Turning it up's not going to help.
Skyrim? Red Dawn.
Incorrect.
Movie.
We're gonna need some context or some clues here.
All right.
Baldur's Gate.
No.
Dark Alliance.
No.
2.
You
Diablo?
just can't, let's
Came out on PC, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One.
Diablo.
No.
I already said Diablo.
Okay, next clue.
Remake.
Single player, multiplayer, action RPG.
Diablo.
Okay.
Oh. Wait.
Maybe if you keep guessing it, it'll be
Is
it.
it War of the North?
No. Nothing? Okay.
Action RPG.
Yep.
All right.
Action RPG.
Came out November 18th of 2014.
Another clue.
Dragon Age Origins.
Yep.
Yes! Motherfucker.
Wow.
about it. Had to think.
Origins? It was Origins the first one?
Oh, did you say
Dragon
Origin?
Age 3.
Inquisition.
Dragon Age 3.
Well, it was Dragon Age. You already guessed it. Fuck.
Okay.
Dragon Age 2.
Inquisition.
Inquisition, yes.
Fuck.
I got it anyway.
Yeah. I was going to say, that's older.
You never
Dragon
said if we had to be
Origins
specific
is
or
way
not in that
older than
question.
that.
All right, so me and Jake are tied after 2 clips. Brant, drop clip number 3 on us.
All right, clip number 3. And you don't have to be specific on this one.
Thank you.
Final Fantasy.
No.
Dark Souls.
Zelda.
No. No.
Bloodborne.
Nope.
Lord of the Rings.
I like this song.
No.
Fable 3.
No.
We already a clue 1, number 1, Brent.
All right. Came out in November 23rd, 2004.
Oof.
Wow.
It's gonna drop fast here
Is
because
it
the clues are very obvious.
Eternal
All right.
Darkness?
No.
No.
It was only on PC and Mac.
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
Oh, I said StarCraft as soon as he said that. Ugh.
World of Warcraft. Correct.
I play with the sound off. So
Most do. That's why
Yeah.
it was very misleading.
All right, Jake comes up with 2 points. Brent, you drop clip number 4 on us.
Oh god. Here we go. Clip number 4.
Uh-oh. Spy Hunter.
No.
Fuck! It sounds like Spy Hunter. God damn it.
Wreck-It, Ralph?
Tetris.
Cuber?
Oh, no.
Is it Cuber?
Oh, no.
Is it Mean Bee
Galactica?
Machine?
Donkey Kong 3.
That last part. Oh, no. You need
Burger Time.
No. All right. So
Joust.
no. Should we go to some clues here?
Yeah, do
Okay.
it. Please.
You obviously know it's already old, so we'll go ahead and tell you the date. July 27th, 1990.
It's newer than I thought.
Dun, 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 dun,
No, we
dun,
got the
dun,
sound.
dun, dun.
Next clue.
Okay.
You bitch.
It came out on NES, Game Boy, and Game Boy Advance.
Not arcade, though.
Ice
Game &
Climbers?
Watch?
Ice Climbers?
No.
Game & Watch?
No.
Kid Icarus?
No.
Dr. Mario?
Boom!
Thank
Dr.
you.
Oh, I hate that game. I hate that fucking game.
Well done.
I recognize that sound from Smash, not from the actual
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, it is from Smash. Yep.
Guys, they're tied.
Oh, man. That was fantastic. I'm so happy.
So
guys.
I'm on the board with 2 points. Jake's on the board with 2 points. Now
You
it
gotta
comes
steal
down.
it from him.
Now me and Jake, I go in the tiebreaker.
Ready?
Yep.
This one's going to be fast. It's going to be off the clip. Here we go. Tiebreaker.
Mario Party.
Mario Kart. Mario Tennis?
Mario Golf.
Oh. It was Mario something. We knew that.
It was the Toadstool one on GameCube.
Oh, that's why it sounded familiar. All right, Jake
very
walks
nice.
away the winner of
I
trivia
never
tonight.
thought I was going to win a game trivia in my life, so I'm happy.
Nice.
All right, and that wraps it up for episode 10 of Super Media All Stars. We are on a lot of social media these days, including Twitter at SMAS Pod. You can find us on Facebook at Super Media All Stars. And as Jake mentioned earlier, you can find us on Instagram at Super Media All Stars.
Yep.
You can find me on Xbox as Cyjohn, PlayStation as JHarris3571.
You can find me on PlayStation and Microsoft at Lumberjake007. You can find my Steelbook account on Instagram at SteelbookObsessed. I'm at 410 followers. I've gained like 60 in a week. Pretty crazy. The SMAS bump, I think. That's what's happening.
Nice.
Yeah.
You can find me at Steam as Bangtang.
You can find me on PlayStation at Sweatman20012. Currently playing Destiny 2 quite a bit, so if you're playing that at all, hit me up.
Dr. Borich on Xbox.
You start giving that stuff out, eventually someone shows up at your door, so I think I'll stay anonymous.
Wow.
Whoa.
For now.
Dun, 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 dun.
Teaser.
There's a lot of cool things coming out in the near future. We got the Super Nintendo Entertainment Classic coming out soon.
Cuphead the same day.
Cuphead comes out next week. Also, an update on that. Our own Brent Harris has got his own Let's Play started, so we're getting that on the road here shortly. A lot of cool equipment at use there, so be looking forward to
Will
that.
you do a multiplayer on that, or?
We're going to try to.
We could.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. A lot of cool stuff coming out in the next month or so, so stay tuned for Meet All Stars. We'll be covering a lot of that stuff and diving into it. But till then, episode 10, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Game over, man. Game over.
Bye bye. I am out of here.